What's up, fellow Gen Xers and enthusiasts? Welcome to X-Hale and Rewind, where we're all about celebrating our unique experiences growing up as part of Gen X. We witnessed some truly impactful moments, like the Desert Storm, the Challenger explosion, the tragic passing of Princess Diana, and the death of rock legend Kurt Cobain. But hey, we also saw some truly amazing things like the Berlin Wall coming down, the rise of MTV, the birth of arcades, the launch of the We Are the World video, mixtapes, and playing Oregon Trail on the first school computers. And we are here to share with you just a little bit about what life was like as a Gen Xer. Xhale and Rewind. What is up, all my time travelers? Hey, welcome back to Xhale and Rewind. It is a show where we break down the culture that shaped a whole generation. Generation X, y'all. I am your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm your co-host, Juju. And today, we're diving deep into the soundtrack of Generation X. The music that wasn't just about entertainment, it was about rebellion, truth-telling, and calling out the system.
Oh man, Juju, you ain't lying. The 80s and 90s were something else. I mean, we really had this perfect storm of social awareness, technological changes, and pure musical innovation.
And don't forget the flannel. So much flannel.
Hey, I still have some flannels in my closet for sure. But what made Gen X music so different from what came before, y'all?
It was raw, Mike. These artists weren't trying to tell you a fantasy. They were holding up a mirror to society and saying, look at what's really going on.
That's right. And the roots of this rebellion, that 90s explosion, we kind of need to talk about what set that stage. You had the Reagan era, which really sparked something in musicians.
Oh, totally. You had bands like Dead Kennedys with Holiday in Cambodia just ripping into the whole system.
Hey, and do not forget about Black Flag's TV party, using satire to call out mindless consumption and entertainment.
We're going to have a TV party tonight.
Alright, your singing has not improved any since the last episode.
Hey, that's authentically punk. But seriously, this era laid the groundwork for everything that followed. You had these underground networks forming.
The famous mixtape of underground. Before streaming, before even CDs really, people were out there sharing these hand-labeled cassettes like Samsdat.
For our younger listeners, Samsdat was...
Let them Google it, Juju.
Right.
Keep the mystery alive. They can figure that one out.
Right.
Alright, college radio revolution, Juju.
So, let's talk about how college radio changed everything. These small campus stations became like cultural laboratories.
Yeah, REM basically built their early career through college radio. Radio for Europe wasn't just a song title, y'all. It was like a mission statement.
Facts. And you had stations breaking format, playing whatever they wanted. That's how you hear the replacements next to the Husker Du, next to the Minuteman.
Hey, speaking of the Minuteman, Corona, before it became the Jackass theme, it was this brilliant critique of border politics and class division.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Did you just pull Paul Harvey on us?
Something.
Like, your references are really showing our age, brother.
Says the man who still owns a cassette tape.
Shut up. Alright. Let's take a second and dive into that Seattle scene. And no, we're not starting with Nirvana. I love Nirvana, but...
Thank you. Everyone always jumps straight to 91. But Mahoney and Green River were laying that groundwork years earlier.
Hey, definitely. Let's talk about what made the Seattle sound so perfect for social critique. You had this mix of heavy metal power,
classic rock structures,
and that punk rock attitude. It was kind of like this perfect storm of musical elements, y'all.
Plus that lyrics were actually saying something. Take Soundgarden's New Damage, straight up environmental warning wrapped in this massive sound.
Yeah, and you got Pearl Jam's Jeremy. It addresses school violence years before it became a national conversation.
And the women in the scene. L7, 7-year bitch.
Bikini Kill and the whole Riot Girl movement.
Which deserves its own episode, honestly.
Yeah, let's move on to hip hop's truth telling. Now, while all this was happening in rock, don't forget about hip hop. It was going through its own revolution at this time.
Public Enemy's Fight the Power wasn't just a song, it was a manifesto.
And you had artists like Ice Cube documenting life in South Central, and really had the detail of a documentary filmmaker.
Then groups like A Tribe Called Quest brought this whole jazz influence intellectually sharp perspective.
Yeah, and you also had Cypress Hill mixing that Latin influence with that hardcore beat and political messages.
Don't forget Digital Underground making seriously points through humor.
Do the Humpty. The Humpty. Yeah, the Humpty Dance was actually about body positivity before that was even a thing.
Let's talk about Electronic Underground. Here's something people forget. Electronic music was getting political too.
Ministry. NWO was like the industrial scene's response to the first Gulf War.
And 9 Inch Nails, Head Like a Hole. Straight up anti-capitalist anthem.
Head like a hoe, black as you sow.
And now, who needs singing lessons?
I deserve that. Alright, mainstream. Let's talk about how mainstream infiltrated music. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. All this underground stuff really starts infiltrating the mainstream.
Right? Suddenly, you got Rage Against the Machine on MTV breaking down the military-industrial complex between Bon Jovi videos.
And then Green Day bringing back punk politics straight to the suburbs.
While Alanis Morissette was smuggling feminist critique into pop radio.
Yeah. Remember how people thought You Ought to Know was just about a bad breakup?
Yeah. They missed the whole patriarchy takedown in that one.
Definitely. You got a lot of international influence too during our scene. We should really talk about how this wasn't just an American thing.
The British scene was exploding with bands like the Stone Roses calling out indifferences.
And Massive Attack creating these sonic landscapes that captured urban anxiety.
While the Prodigy was literally sampling protest chants.
Here's the big question though, Juju. What did all this rebellion actually accomplish?
Well, it definitely changed how we talk about social issues.
Right.
These artists proved you could be commercially successful while still being critical of the system.
Yes. And they influenced so many of today's artists. You can hear echoes of that Gen X skepticism all over.
Though sometimes I wonder if we were maybe a little too cynical.
Says the guy who just made 5 sarcastic comments in the last 10 minutes.
I feel seen and I don't like it.
All right. Lightning round time. Quick hits. Most influential Gen X albums, go.
Never mind. Obviously, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. Doolittle.
Best political lyrics.
Rage's Sleep Now in the Fire. Bad Religion's 21st Century Digital Boy. Tool's Anima.
All right. Most underrated scene.
Minneapolis, The Replacements, Soul Asylum, Pre-Fame, Husker Du.
All right. I love it. But before we wrap up, let's do our signature speed round. Top 5 ways Gen X music changed everything.
1. DIY became legitimate. 2. Social commentary became commercially visible. 3. Genre boundaries got demolished. 4. Production values became optional. 5. The irony became an art form.
And that is why Gen X music matters, folks. It wasn't just about the sound. It was about changing how we think about art, society, and ourselves. All right, y'all. It has been a great show. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. As always, I am your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm your co-host, Juju.
Don't forget the past, and we'll see you in the future.